Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, Understand and Meet the New Demands of E-commerce. So today's session, Inclouders will share growth strategies. This is a session for marketers with marketers as experts in this meeting. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion of marketers talking to marketers. So this session is intended to last for an hour. If it's less, it's fine, as long as we cover all the topics. So before I jump in to present today's session, I'll spend a few seconds telling you about Incloud. So if I can get my, yes, thank you. So basically, I suppose most of you know that we have been involved with Salesforce technologies over the years. But besides implementing Salesforce technologies, the first component of this value proposition, making sure you get clear ROI with Salesforce, comes with enabling growth. And as marketers, I'm pretty sure you will agree that if we cannot enable growth, we have no value for what we do. So please jump into the next slide. So basically, as I mentioned, we are implementing Salesforce technologies, but we have been involved in digital marketing consulting for all the 10 years Incloud has been in business. So we have a solid track record of companies we have been helping with marketing strategies in various industries. And we're successful by combining strategy with technology expertise and assistance, and or providing assistance to your marketing team. So that's the equation of digital marketing consulting. And today, you're going to hear about, of course, specific insights from marketers. So this is basically a marketing consulting session. We're not talking about how to implement Salesforce basically today, although we have many examples using Salesforce technologies. So thanks for moving to the next slide. So today's learning topics, as they were announced on the registration page, we're going to talk about adapting marketing for success in the online retail landscape, which is pretty unique. We're going to talk about leveraging evolving consumer habits for improved marketing. And no surprise, consumer habits evolve all the time. Managing supply chain disruptions while ensuring effective marketing, and last but not least, developing cohesive marketing plans for a smooth cross-channel experience. So now let me present you, please move on to the next slide, today's panelists. So the two Inclouders we have here today, Ana Maria Morena, Strategic Marketing Practice Lead at Incloud, and Cal Buari, Customer Engagement Manager at Incloud. So guys, I'll let you introduce yourself. I'm going to take a short break.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. I'm going to go first. I've decided ladies first. So basically, head of the digital marketing consulting practice at Incloud. So we work with the customers that we have with their marketing strategy, email strategy, anything in the digital ecosystem or e-commerce. And in a nutshell, help them leverage the technology to make sure that revenue conversion and whatever their goals are attained. And there's also sort of an agency side to what we do in terms of design or whatever assets we provide to our customers, UX, UI, UD, and all that. So kind of just makes Incloud like a one-stop shop. And that's what my team does.
And I'm Carl Buari. I've been at Incloud for 2 years now. I have approximately a decade of experience in marketing, which I've worn different hats. I've been a project manager, a web developer, also a graphic designer, until I fell in love with Salesforce 5 years ago. And I am certified with Marketing Cloud. And as an engagement manager, basically what I do, I follow clients all throughout their Salesforce Marketing Cloud initiatives. And I also act as a Marketing Cloud consultant. So,
Thank you both. So, well, let's start the discussion. And for the sake of explaining the topics, we decided to cover the first two topics all together because they are intertwined. So I'll let you start first. Well, maybe I could introduce you a little bit. So basically, when we're talking about adapting marketing for success in this specific retail landscape, it has to be based on evolving consumer habits. So, by staying attuned to how consumers shop, research products, engage with brands, marketers can optimize their strategies to better meet evolving expectations and preferences. Now, need to consider a few things, challenges. And maybe Cal or Anna would love to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, we see this a lot with our customers. I think, most of the challenges that they're experiencing today is adapting to sort of the changing customer, much shorter attention span. We see that with like time spent on site being much lower, probably caused by the TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts era of things. There's also much more of a demand for better customer service. There's way higher standards with regards to getting back to them, answering their needs in a timely fashion. It also has to be easy, can't be anything difficult or convoluted. And in general, they just want things faster and easier, and they want more visibility. More visibility is demanded in terms of like, where's my package? What's happening? Where are we at with this process? So it's not. I feel like the power has sort of shifted to more of a customer-centric mentality. This started a few years ago, but now with technology and a bunch of other competitors doing this, it sort of became the norm.
I agree with you, Anna, and I think we also maybe I'm talking for me, but since we have a shorter attention span with all the different social media or content that we're ingesting, I think we also want things to happen faster and a more immediate manner. For example, I really need to have a better and like, let's say if I'm going to be using a chatbot, for example, I have a question, I want it answered now. I want to have this information on the website. I don't want to be looking for a phone number. I don't want to be looking for this information. I really want it to be straight in my face. And it was already hard to have. We already spent not so much time on the website, and I think it's gotten even shorter with now.
Yeah, even like the other day, your Domino's, when we were talking about pizza there, the Carl's obsessed with pizza, but when you're talking about your order and you're like, where is it? I gotta track this guy who ordered it, and like how many toppings it. Like I remember, I wasn't fully paying attention, but I know there was a Pizzagate story about like,
if Domino's is going to offer me to see 6 different steps to receive my pizza, I expect the same online when I'm going to spend hundreds of dollars for a specific brand. I'm talking, for example, a clothing company. If I'm going to buy clothes, well, I want to know if something has been delayed. I want to be able to follow the process. It's important to have this information, and I'd rather receive this information from the get-go than having to look for it, right?
Yeah, so Carl's the poster child of like the client we're talking about.
I
And
had a short span of attention even before.
This is true. This is also true. So just some trends that we're seeing, and like, what can be done to like alleviate like and navigate sort of these waters, and obviously first trend we're seeing is AI, but AI being used differently. We're not talking ChatGPT, we're talking about like, how can AI help with SEO? How can you give it prompts that it literally will provide you the H1 tags and all the different keywords to put onto your website? How are you going to use this tool to literally build out our SEO plan that we just have to plug and play and put it into our website? Same thing with chatbots. How do we use AI to sort of audit the initial conversation before initially sort of wasting the time of a customer service rep? And also, how can we sort of maybe even delegate it to such a point where they never have to talk to a customer service rep because it solves the issue sort of on its own, or it sort of directs them to a blog post or some Q&A that can sort of solve their problem, which is operational efficiency. You're wasting less time of a rep. And then even just in automations of emails, what emails can just be triggered and sent out based on AI, based on where they are in the purchase cycle, based on what issues they're facing, or where they are in the shopping cycle, in browser notifications as well. How can AI sort of push some of those in-browser notifications so that a cart is not abandoned, or so that pushing them next through the purchase cycle of, like, we're speaking retail specifically, but really learning how to exploit and use AI tools, even just with ChatGPT, not just basic level prompts, but have you tried asking ChatGPT, ask me a minimum of 10 questions in order to better understand my problem? Not just, how do I solve this? Have you asked ChatGPT, how can you shorten this paragraph? How can you shorten this response by 50%? How can you, so it's really refining our language and exploiting AI to its fullest capabilities, not just like basic level stuff,
Ralph,
And I
what do
want
you
to
think
circle
about?
back on the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stefan.
I was wondering if you had a different opinion about using AI.
Well, for me, I think AI is really good and I wanted to circle back on the chatbots. I think 90% of the time when you're going to navigate on a website, the chatbot and the prompts that you can give the chatbot is going to solve 90% of your problems. But I think it's still important to offer some kind of human interaction with the user. There is going to have a user that's going to have a 1% type of case where they really need to speak to someone, and being stuck in a loop of prompts with a chatbot can be quite frustrating. And I think the chatbot is really the goal of the chatbot is really the opposite of frustrating the user. It's supposed to make the experience faster and more efficient.
For sure.
So I think, and maybe I'm speaking for me, but I think it's still important to offer somewhat a route for your customer to really have this one-on-one human interaction.
Yeah, and I think, and that brings us, I think, into sort of our next point, which is personalization, and not basic personalization like name and I know what you bought, but really, where did you leave off? What information have you already provided? Like, so that a customer service rep or a chat bot, whatever information they gathered doesn't, once you're on the phone with somebody, say, oh, can you just repeat your issue, repeat your, there's such a precedence now, like we said, because people expect a much higher level of service. Understand where I came from, understand, like, do not make me repeat information, and then cater and personalize future communications based on what I've already told you. If I told you I'm allergic to XYZ, don't propose me, groceries in a space where I've told you, or if you've asked for my preferences, respect them, So how can we use segmentation, communication, and really cater communications, offers, promotions based on what I've told you, but then also how have I behaved? What have I done on your website? Where have I gone? What have I looked at? And, sort of, like I said, personalization beyond years ago, where it was just like, we saw you browse this, or hi, Anna, how are you today? It's really.
I think a first name is literally just the basic of personalization nowadays. I think now it goes deeper than this, like actions on your website, browsing behaviors. For example, I had bought a specific item in the past, and I got this, and 3 days later, I get the same item in a different promotion that's totally being pushed to me. So that means that the brand was not really capturing what my past purchases, right? And
or there was a delay, right? The timing of certain
or there
messages,
was a delay,
automation is off.
but that caused me to make a call to go on the website, and
Yeah.
I'm creating I'm frustrated, and the brand has to interact with me, and it just created a lot of confusion. And I think it's really important to really connect all this information together, which is not just the offers, not just the first name, but really give an overall great experience to your consumer.
Yeah, I agree. And there's like a fine line. There's a really classy way to do it, in such a way to say, like, I know you've given us this information, I know this is where you're at, but not in a stalkerish, creepy privacy. We still have to respect like the whole privacy and that sort of vibe that's still really prominent in today's trends. But it's more just like, if you could be relevant, timely, and provide value, any type of personalization is welcome in this day and age. You know what I mean? Because like, you're willing to give the information if you're gonna provide value from what I've told you. Just moving on to the next topic, what we're seeing is really search. What's really big in search is voice search. How can you set up your campaigns, your website to really respond to voice search prompts? A lot of people on their phones are using microphones for a lot more searching today, as well as like social search. searching hashtags or really just looking for products on social media before shopping for them, or it's not just Google and Safari, or I mean, who really use Safari? But I mean, beyond Google, sort of elaborating the space for search is something else that we're seeing.
I agree with you, and I think we've really moved on from. I mean, it would depend on what sector, but I think, for example, I think we're moving off from the static Google search or prompt that we're going to make at home. I think, for example, when it comes to choosing a restaurant for tonight or any activity that you're going to want to do, social search can be much better than just Google reviews or a Google My Business prompt.
Yeah.
You can see actual videos, you can see menus, you can see different stories, for example, on social media, and it's really going to give you a better feeling that like you are on site rather than just reading different customer reviews that could be fake, for example, or could be not an actual representation of what your experience is going to be. So I think
I still think Google My Business has its prominence in terms of they've offered new features in Google My Business to upload like videos and beyond directions. Like they've taken that a little further, and I think there's also a generation that uses that more than others. But I agree, it doesn't just stop there anymore. It continues on to the Instagram profile or the TikToker and the content that they create as well, whether it be reels or whether it be shorts or videos or whatever the case may be. I agree, before most searches were not as in-depth, and even the way we got to them, I definitely see that that's changed. And
I would compare, for example, let's say on Instagram, when you're going to look up a restaurant, I am going to look at the number of followers that this establishment has when it has nothing to do with the food. It has nothing to do with the ambiance I'm going to get. But you can compare it to when you do a Google search for a restaurant, you're going to look at the number of reviews. So if a restaurant has 100 reviews versus 5,000 reviews, it might change your opinion on the place just based on that.
So you're going to silently judge them until you understood. Just piggybacking off of that, the sort of the next trend we're really seeing is it has to do with like an elevated level of creativity. I feel like, and yes, this is also due because of social media and the types of content and the different sort of channels for content, but there's definitely more of a need for creativity to stand out, to get your attention. Like I said, we talked about attention span before, we talked about pickiness and just a much tougher customer. So things have to sort of jump out at them and grab their attention. If not, they're just kind of mindlessly scrolling or visiting websites for 2.5 seconds of their day, of their time while scrolling. So we're seeing clients having to have do much cooler things, have communications that break the norm, grab your attention. And this is usually done from the UI side of things, cursor interactions or immersive scrolling, or introducing motion design, having micro interactions on mobile or even on websites, and really elevating the storytelling. Whereas before, I feel like the trend was storytelling and curating and storytelling. Now it's with the interactions in the UI, and then also consequently the UX side of things, which is like sustainable based UX, and how do we have gesture based interactions or biometrics like face recognition, fingerprints. How do you incorporate that into the storytelling to make it much more immersive, and even augmented reality, not just virtual reality, but augmented reality. Take a picture of your couch, and what does it look like staged in not your couch, well, it could be your couch staged somewhere else, or a new couch staged in your house, which may not be as cool. But I mean, even Carl, you were saying the other day with your glasses, when you were showing me the screenshots of your glasses, the all that process you had to clearly, Carl and I shop too much and talk too much.
Even though the experience wasn't perfect, I think it's just a fun experience to offer for your customers, right?
Like the shots from the side and the
so I took a few shots, right? Left shot, right shot, face. So, and then I could see my face with the different products on the website. It didn't look perfect, but it sure gave me a fun experience. And I did end up actually buying glasses. Haven't received them yet, but I can't wait.
She's going to write to customer service right after this to complain about the delay in I'm kidding. One of the next things we're really seeing also is the changing of e-commerce channels.
Yeah.
So
Let's
it's
talk
not
about
just,
that.
sorry?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I'm interested in the new
Yeah,
channels or
yeah.
evolving
So
channels.
it's not just pure play websites anymore necessarily. There's so many other like affiliated channels, whether it be social commerce, buying things on Instagram and TikTok, Google Shopping, so your generic searches, but really filtering by price or where you want to shop or best deal or whatever the case may be, but generic searches that then get filtered down. Also video shopping, things that you see at the end of YouTube videos, things that you see at the end of reels, and really influencer marketing growing, as well as the user generated content that they do that gets you to buy things. Like I buy things, it's funny because if I'm making a long-term purchase, I'm going to research the heck out of it, and I'm going to sort of find different channels. Where could I buy this best price? Look up reviews, really make an informed decision. And then I will also buy a bunch of useless shit that I don't need on Instagram because the influencer has been talking about it for days now, and I trust her and I like her and she's had good recommendations in the past. And then I'm going to go spend money on something ridiculous that I most likely don't need, but was sold on because of the trusted source it came from, whether it be a beauty product or whether it be so it's just, normally I wouldn't go to these websites. Normally I wouldn't know that there was a need for this, but it's the whole commerce is changing. How we get to the point of purchase is also changing. And I feel like companies and even some of our clients are investing a lot more in these Instagram influencers. And the channels have also become a lot easier and more conducive to do so. Instagram 3-4 years ago, getting a link or getting to a website, very difficult. Same thing with, other channels, but now link is right there, link to this, like link in bio, actually even link in bio is even annoying now, but there's actual tagged products on the actual post. So it's sort of these channels also facilitating commerce. Same thing with Google Shopping, link directly to the website. Same thing with video shopping, link in the video. So I think that too is an increment. It's really showing us an incremental channel to generate revenue beyond just our website.
And I think influencer marketing is a very special one because for me personally, I find that not that I shop so much from influencers, but most of the time, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, it's always an item that I've never looked for and I really
Yeah.
didn't until I saw
Yes.
someone that I like showing it to me, right? And they're
Yes.
all brands that I didn't know before. So I think it just comes and reaches a different kind of customer for your brand, and interesting.
Yeah, and even the referral of ads, you follow certain things, you get proposed certain products, then you research the person and whatever. But yeah, it's definitely there goes all our disposable income. You want to talk about the final point?
Sure. I think continuous improvement is also very important. Um, when I say continuous improvement, I'm talking about reporting and metrics. I think most of the time brands or marketers are going to go and get the numbers, but it's important to follow up on these numbers and really come with a plan in order to either fix a problem or go and get more or a bang for a buck if it is for, let's say, an SEM campaign, maybe a better UX on your website, but really just have
Optimize.
an optimized mind. But also something that is very important would be anything around feedback, right? It's gotten really important to interact with your customers nowadays. I think whether it's an NPS survey or reviews, I think they can either be good or bad. It's rare to get the person that has just a mild idea of what they think of you. It's either they really like your brand or they had a bad experience. And I think it's important to have a plan for both. Either someone is really pissed off, well, you need to have a plan for them to get them to love you again. And if someone loves your brand, maybe invite them to your loyalty club. Maybe show them something else. I don't know what it is, but you need to have a plan around.
Yeah, like what do you do with that information? How are you going to sort of exploit that information? But which is what brings us to our topic today. How do we know that customers are increasingly picky, increasingly smaller attention span, decrease in patience and all this? It's from these like NPS surveys or reviews, and even how do you exploit the metrics, not just for understanding understanding the current situation, but how do you use it in prediction and forecasting, and whether it be supply chain, whether it be forecasting issues, whether it be forecasting communications, but really like weaponizing the data to your advantage and really using it to get the most amount of sales, conversion, revenue, specifically in the retail space.
And you know what I would also add? I think most brands, they know what channel is going to work best for them. But I think it's also important to, I know we talk a lot about A/B testing, for example, subject lines, I don't know, content in your emails or social media. But I
Dynamic
think it's also
content.
important to try new campaigns as a whole, really go with new ideas, test it for a while. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Now you know that it doesn't work, but always try to be creative and always try to bring something new to your customers.
Yeah.
So true. We'll move on to the next slide. Please go to topic number 4. I think it's more appropriate to address topic number 4 first. So please, yes, thank you. So, guys, it's time to speak about developing, a cohesive marketing plan for a smooth cross-channel experience. So it links with the previous topics. So basically, in a cross-channel environment where customers interact with a brand through multiple touch points, it is crucial to create cohesive, of course, plans that ensure consistency in messaging, branding, and of course, user experience for smoother and more integrated customer journeys. So let's move on with maybe Anna again.
Actually, let me take on this one. I think it's important to talk about the challenges to develop a cohesive marketing plan.
Agreed.
I think one of them would be, and it's one that I see a lot actually, it would be silos between departments. There's different departments in a company or a brand. There's, for example, the sales team versus the marketing team, HR. I think, for example,
versus is a good word. It's funny because how many times have we heard like people that work together every day and that should be collaborating realize or we bring them on les amène à un point where we're like, oh, maybe we're not aware of as much as we thought we were. Silos are a much bigger issue than we think.
And you have to remember that all these departments have individual goals and objectives that they want to achieve. And they are mostly aligned with the broader objective of the company, but the sales team is not really aware on what the marketing team's working on. The marketing team doesn't know what's let's say, the script that the sales department is doing. So it's really important to take in consideration that there might be silos in your departments, and most of the time they don't know that there is a silo, right? So this is the kind of
that's our biggest. It's usually us pointing it out, but even more so than that, I feel like we have some clients that do this really, really well in the sense of upper management ensures that the silos are broken down, ensures that there's like a dissemination of information, but also ensures that they're all marching towards the same goal. Because yes, there's different budgets and different tactics in each team, but what's our biggest revenue generator? Because we should all be focused on that one, not the biggest revenue generator for my department, your department, but as a company, And sometimes that may change the priorities of other departments because you really have to march towards that task. And we have some of our clients, I feel that when I look at them, they do this really, really well, some of their leaders. And then there's others where it's managed like little businesses. Each department is managed like its own little business, and they're sort of ranked on the profitability or and it's fine. Sometimes it works, but how much more productive?
It's been working for so long, right? So sometimes it's been working for so long until it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, or even just when they start, like when we saw with anyway, we're not going to mention names, but some of our clients where they did switch to this model, and look at the growth we saw with them, because now all the soldiers are marching in the same direction and faster and more aligned. Anyway, I completely agree with what you were saying in terms of the challenges.
So how can we break down the silos? That's the way to avoid that?
Yeah, so we sort of came up with a formula because we saw this coming up a lot, and sort of the thing we take on is the customer journey mapping sort of formula, which is mapping out all the touch points in the digital ecosystem and where they live and what do they look like and what do they sound like, and Is there opportunities to send more? Is there opportunities to send less communications? Are we talking social media, email, landing page, affiliate, paid? Like everything is just on one visual map. And you're able to see at that point, right down to a UX level, what does this email look like? What does this social media post look like? Is it on brand? Is it timely? Is it on tone? Is it, relevant in terms of the data and the information we have at that stage? So once you see the entire flow of what a customer is experiencing, you're able to and because it's interdepartmental, it's not just all the digital channels, but what part does sales have in this, or HR, or operations, or when we do a customer journey map, it's really bringing together all these people to document and audit this sort of operational efficiency kind of overview. And then we're able to get their feedback and see, okay, what's going to work for you in terms of what are the low-hanging fruit? Do we all agree that X, Y, Z, or 1, 2, 3 are the lowest hanging fruit and we should all run towards that? Also, what longer term projects do we agree we need to embark on? What budget is needed for that? Because if they're longer term, it's probably a bigger budget. And once you start having these conversations and really looking at all the channels, all the performance, and tie it into the KPIs of the company, this is where you're able to get everybody marching in the same direction. How many times in these meetings did we see where sales wasn't even aware and they're like, oh yeah, we do that, marketing does that, we send a follow-up email, I didn't know that, and it's mind-boggling because these people literally sit next to each other in the office, but they don't realize what communications or what the customers experience. They just know I send out this, but as a whole, the customer went from social to the website to an email and is probably going, why am I what? So it's how do we limit that what? And also how do we optimize these communications so that, we sort of get the goals we want out of them. And then also because it's visual and it's this kind of like one pager map of the universe, it's easier to present to your executives to say, hey, look, this is everything we're doing right now. This is the budget we have, and this is whatever we want to go here. These are the new journeys we want to develop. We're going to need this budget, but we're getting feedback from a lot of executives where they're like, wow, I've never seen a blueprint presented to me this way. And it's so clear I think it helps them approve more budget from what we've seen, but I mean, it's not always guaranteed, but we've gotten a lot of good feedback because it's literally your plan on a page. And executives don't have time to read. So
really the best thing that comes out of it, I think, for me that I've seen is that the different departments are really going to see their needs on a one pager and everybody can see.
And their part in it. Like right. I interject here, I'm aware of my little part, but like, oh my God, I belong to like such a bigger, and my communications or tasks have bigger repercussions on things I wasn't even aware of, So that's where I feel like the silos really get broken down.
I have a question for you, Anna.
Yeah.
Is this something that you would only present to the executives or the marketing team, or is this something that you would really present?
Everybody, we've depending on the company, depending on B2B, B2C, we're meeting with accounting, HR, sales, marketing, operations, administrate. Like it depends what they want to focus on, but the goal is really to get everybody's story and décortiquer all of this and make it in like to a one-page plan where they like dumb it down to be like, this is how your organization is being run. These are the things you're saying. This is how you're saying it. This is when you're saying it. And are we okay with that? And then for us to present optimizations to be like, I think we can go get more money if we did this. I think we can, and it's a big discussion. It's a big debate, but already just having those people in the same room together sometimes or on the same call already starts the collaboration process, let alone then after when we all agree on low-hanging fruit or all agree on short-term priorities, all agree. That alone, that exercise alone, I've seen it make friends like amongst different departments and just increase collaboration just by the work sessions, let alone our recommendations, our plan, our delivery, and whatever else we provide after. It's sort of, yeah, we facilitate that.
So that's a very interesting advice. So using the customer journey mapping exercise to develop that specific, much needed cohesive marketing plan for a smooth cross-channel experience. Do we have, guys, another advice on ways to develop a better cohesive marketing plan? Maybe Carl has a
There is an
different,
exercise that I like to do in parallel with the customer journey mapping. It would really be the focus groups, which you can also call
yeah.
user segmentation. Um,
I
a
call it
broad-
focus groups. Carl always corrects me.
Focus groups, I call
It's
it
the
the same way.
posse.
I'm trying to be politically correct. Okay, I mentioned both. Okay. No, but seriously, so any brand is going to have customers and users that are totally different people, but are buying the same products. And I think before you even start creating a campaign, I think you need to do the qualitative study of really knowing who are the people you're addressing to and put them in certain buckets. And I think what do you put in these buckets? I think it's purchasing behaviors. It could be their age, it could be their genders, it could be any characteristics that are going to be important related to what you're selling to your customers. You need to brand who these people are. And when this study is done, I think it's important to also do the quantitative study to really know how many people do you have in each of these buckets. And then when it's going to come to the customer journey mapping, I think it's really going to help you with anything that has to do with
Yeah, you layer on like this idea of personas. You're layering on like
that's the word,
persona information, but it's also not personas from 5 years ago. It's personas on steroids now, just because we have so much more data, we've collected so much more information, and how do we exploit that? You know, like it's gone further. You know, like I feel like we're using old words for new trends, but it's a lot. It's evolved to something
But I think it also comes to after the sale too, right? Because yeah, I might have bought your product, but maybe my product needs a follow-up later. Maybe you have to treat these personas in a different manner, let's say for customer service or after sale. I think these characteristics are really going to help your business give the best experience to your
and ensure future sales and like have
and
an
ensure future sales.
overall customer lifetime value that's like way more augmented than what it could be, would be, because it's also not, it's not just identifying these personas, but and exploiting them and all that, but it's also it goes to a level of use cases. Before it's like this bucket of people, we do this to them. This bucket, this now it's really, you know, use cases for these personas, as opposed to just like they get these comms. You know, it's a lot more poussé. It's a lot more. It's evolved a great deal. You know, and we see some of our customers doing this impeccably awesome, amazing, and then we have some other customers that are still you know, we're helping them get to this point of really exploiting the data, collecting it first, how to collect it, but then exploiting the heck out of it, you know.
But sometimes that's the easy part, right? Collecting the data most of the time is easy, but you have to make the data talk and really connect everything. I think that's where
yeah, insights. It's not just data.
Yeah.
It's the insights from the data. Yeah, exactly.
And how to translate what the data is saying.
Yeah, which is what we're there for most of the time.
All right. We'll move on to topic number 3, which is our fourth topic for today. So yes, thank you. So managing supply chain disruptions while ensuring effective marketing. So what we mean by that is that we as marketers face challenges like product shortages or delays. We have been seeing it, of course, increasing a lot during the pandemic, but it remains. So it underscores the importance of aligning marketing efforts for sure with the current state of the supply chain. So I believe both of you guys have a bit of advice on this.
I think I'm going to kick it off by maybe introducing some disruptions that can happen. Not that I want to brand myself as Mr. Frustration, but let's say, for example, what happened to me, pretty recently.
Beyond your glasses being like.
Beyond my glasses.
Okay, there's other problems, clearly.
I sound like a compulsive shopper. Maybe I am.
A compulsive shopper.
But sometimes you can purchase an item and it ends up being out of stock. So now I paid you for an item which I will not receive anytime soon. And I don't know when I'm going to receive it and I'm going to lose it. There's information that is lost. I don't have the answers. I need to look for these answers. I'm frustrated. You don't even know when you're getting that product back in stock. That's one of the, I think, a big example of what's been going on as a disruption. But then there's anything related to shipping, right? There's shipping delays. Maybe it's the manufacturer that's late. It could be the delivery company like DHL, for example, that is late. Sometimes it's also you're going to be stuck with bad return policies. So let's say my order is late. Well, personally, I don't shop in person anymore. I really shop everything online, and then I'm going to try something on, and if I don't like it, I'm going to return it. But now my item has been delayed. I don't know if that's...
Or even just bad return policies in general. I've seen some, I shop both online and in store.
You experience the bad return policies?
Yeah, like ridiculous. Like you buy things at Christmas, but you have 10 days to return it, but it's a Christmas gift and you've said it's a Christmas gift, but they're not willing to understand that. There's some stores that refuse to give you your money back, but give you a store credit, but you're trying to explain to them that I don't shop here ever. What am I going to do with this credit? Or like method of returning the money, time, like allotted time to return the item, the condition in which the item has to be. Sometimes it's like box unopened, but it's like it was literally a gift. Or like just the lack of understanding the reality of the customer. And I'm not saying set up your set it up so that people could take advantage of your company and really, but there's some bad return policies out there that as a shopper myself, not even just as a consumer myself, where I've gotten to the store and I'm like, are you serious? This is your return? Like, it's not written anywhere. Now that you've communicated to me, it's ridiculous.
But that's an example in itself. I mean, if let's say you would order something online and you need to return in person, I think that's pretty annoying to me, right? I think that's a bad...
Yeah, because you've told me you don't shop in store. So why am I forcing you to return it in store? To a certain degree, right? Like, I mean, some items are exempt from this, but it's I agree. How do you sort of navigate and manage, whether it be delays or out of stocks or whatever the case, how do you really reduce the negative impact that this could have on the customer, who we said is already highly picky, time sensitive, wants transparency?
So what are the best practices for
well, the good news is marketing automation can most of the time give you a great strategy in order to deal with these problems.
Yeah, none of this should be manual. Like at this level of detail for what we have on the customer, none of this should be manual. So you should be able to provide them with transparency and, up-to-date information, whether it be email or SMS notifications to tell me something's going to be happening. My driver will be late, or this is going to show up earlier, later. There was an issue with shipping. It's really, I think you alleviate some frustration by just keeping them informed. And not...
That's it. And that's where you're leading somewhere that I want to discuss about. I think I don't want to find out. I want you to tell me that it's late, right? I don't want to go and... You see what I mean? There's a difference between you telling me in advance versus me finding out. And I think that's where marketing automation is very important for these kinds of productions.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not just emails and SMS. Some markets, some products in retail require a phone call, literally like picking up the phone and calling somebody, and whether it be what type of item, high ticket items, or the type of brand culture that you've initiated, or the type of people you're trying to speak to, you know what I mean, that will not check their email or will not, so it's really emails, SMS, phone calls, and even just providing flexibility in your offering. If I want to buy online, pick it up in store, allow me to do that. If I don't want to go to store, allow me to return it online. If I want to be able to have concierge services with specific ticket items, offer that given your market. Like, it's really catering, and exactly what Carl says, like, don't let me find out, tell me. And sometimes the heads up is what alleviates all of these sort of frustrations, and in the right channel, phone, SMS, pigeon carrier, whatever it is. But how do you speak to these people and really cater as much as possible to how they want to be spoken to, when they want to be spoken to, and
it's all about transparency, I think, and that's what I think.
And there's enough data and automation today for us to be able to just show in that field where are we at with this? What do we? It's not like somebody manually entering delivery dates now, or everything's scanned, everything's whatever. So how do we use that information and automate it in an email, automate it in an SMS, so that there is no, like, this can't be a nightmare for the retail either, right? If this becomes manual, it's just the retailer will not do it because the cost of doing it is just too high, right? So
Good. I see time is running. We're gonna have to conclude, and I've seen a few questions asked, so we'll cover the answers separately beyond this discussion. So we'll reach out to you guys who have asked questions. So we'll move on to the concluding notes. Basically, as a conclusion, I'd like to say that success in online retail requires a few things, very important things. It's a combination of agility, customer understanding, like we discussed, operational efficiency, and strategic planning. And all those components, ultimately, it's your people that will make the difference, and we are here to help them succeed, positioning ourselves as helpers, advisors to succeed. So that was, I hope you learned quite a few things today. We invite you to follow us on our LinkedIn page. We're posting educational content every week, more than once per week. And you're going to receive by email our latest ebook presenting Salesforce Marketing Cloud. I know I mentioned we wouldn't speak a lot about Salesforce, but we do have expertise in implementing Salesforce Marketing Cloud. So we're comparing this outstanding marketing automation technology
and Commerce
all the
Cloud
other ones of the market, and we're also bringing a lot of information in terms of educational content. It's a big asset. It's a 20-page ebook, so you're going to receive it by email. I think I'm about to conclude, but I didn't give you the chance to comment also as your own concluding notes. Do you agree about those components: agility, customer understanding, efficiency, and of course strategy?
And I think just to add to that, like, because we're exposed to so many different industries in retail, outside of retail, in retail, consumer goods or fashion or furniture, whatever the case may be, I feel like, and across multiple platforms, whether it be Marketing Cloud, Commerce Cloud, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and even outside some of those platforms. But that being said, I just feel like where we really help our customers is to meet them where they're at and take them further, and be able to take all of these experiences from all these other clouds and industries and consumers and be able to say, like, okay, this is the fastest, best way to do this because we've seen it go wrong in other places. We've seen it, whatever the case may be. This is why a lot of customers sometimes switch from other service providers to us, because we're solving a lot of those problems. So it's like, how do we get them to where they need to get really fast, really easy, and pleasantly, if that's even a word. But like, we have amazing relationship with our customers. We sort of, I think it's our ability, the agility, like you said, and our ability to really relate to them, meet them where they're at, and become trusted friends, and not just and the collaboration is what helps also as GEFA. So yeah, I just adding to that, my experience, our customers are amazing, and
Thank you.
I'm going to end there.
Anything to add, Paul? I mean, I was pretty complete from Manas, but
yeah, and Carl sees another side of it too, right? Like, as an engagement manager, you see I feel like you're so much more in charge of the development of
Yeah, I mean, in my role, I do have to open up the hood a little bit and find out where the clients are at. But I love taking the client's vision and really seeing the vision, but also presenting what's coming next and where we're going to go with all the initiatives that we have. And yeah, I think it's just I'm always open to meeting new clients for sure. And yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well, Anna.
Yeah, I think Stefan wants to end this.
That's fine. We have to go. Thanks for attending. You'll receive again the recording and of course the link to the ebook. And see you next time. There's going to be future sessions, not so far in the future. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Very much.